There we go. Hello, everybody. I'm using the wireless mic again. Let me know how the audio is. If you have been around for a while, you may remember that the mic just stopped working, and there was one day a few months back where I had to switch into the office to use a different computer because no mic would work. Like first, it just kept like, now this mic isn't going to work on this computer. I don't know why. It seems to have resolved itself. It looks like it's working. Let me know if everything, yeah, Nick says everything's going well. So it may be a little loud. Let me know. Maybe a little quiet. Actually, it looks like it's on the loud side. So what's with the audio? Okay, well, let's see. What's different, Paul? Nick, are you noticing anything terrible? I can turn it up. How high can I turn it up? It looks like I'm peaking. I may need to turn it down. Somebody else, wait till, Cat's Heart Pig said, I can hear you, but it sounds like you were far away. Huh. That's weird, because it looks almost too loud. Let me turn it up a little bit more. How's that? Oh, that's definitely getting a little, I may blow someone's eardrums out. Muffled sounding for me, but seems okay. Low and echo. Well, echo is going to be normal in here. I'm going to wait because I may have to switch mics if this is going to be a problem. Waiting for Nick or Joseph to let me know what you're getting. Volume a little low and not as good as, okay, we'll switch to the other mic then, and hopefully this doesn't ruin anything. So give me 1 second. That's weird. I don't know what is the problem with this mic in this room. Hold on. There we go. Is that better? Now it may be too loud. Hold on, let me drop that down just a bit. Let me know how that sounds. And don't mind me, I'm going to take off this annoying wireless mic then if you're not going to work. So I have to reach up my shirt to make this happen. That's not awkward at all. I'm a professional. I do professional things on my, okay, that's better. I don't know why this, so weird. It should work. And I mean, that's what I got this mic for, was mainly for the live streaming in here, and it worked really well. You guys remember for like a couple of months it worked. I don't remember how long. And then suddenly this computer started having problems with it, and then, yeah, weird. But anyway, a little loud, but sounds good. Yeah, let me turn that down a bit. A little bit more. How's that? I think that's about where we were. Okay, so now we are going to go ahead and get started on the... I tried. I'm not even going to bother with the wireless in here. It works great on my other computer. I do not understand what the deal is. They're both MSIs. They both have the same updates. They both use the same... I don't get it. Okay, so octopus. So I need to pull out colors because I just put them away not too long ago. Those of you who have been asking me for watercolor, have good news. I actually started the Leafy Sea Dragon in watercolor. It's back there. I don't think you can see like on that board. There's dark teal background. I did the background last night, got it drawn out. I'm really excited. So the hound cam is a little close. Yeah, that's just where his bed is. I can't actually, it's not even angled on either one of them. The cam's not the thing that's close. It's that the bed is too close. Yeah, that's not going to work. Here, can I move you? People want to see you. Come here. Come here. Move, bad cow. No, get off the bed. Bad cow, come here. Wait. No, okay, no, come here. He's like, I'm supposed to lay down. Okay, there you go. Now you lay down. You go lay down too. Everybody lays down. Gibson, go lay down. That's about as good as that's going to get. Okay, the boys are like, but we're supposed to stay laying down right now. I don't know why you're making us get up. Gibson, down. Gibson is being weird. He was weird laying down. There's toys around the bed that Wade left there, and Gibson's like, they're not my toys. I don't want them near me. Drama dogs. Okay. Yeah, okay. Drawing. So, colored pencils. Anyway, back to the Leafy Sea Dragon. I am starting that watercolor piece. I feel a little bit ahead this week, being that I got the whole, like the background is in. So I'll have to post that over maybe tonight, some updates on MeWe. And maybe my fish forum that I like so much, the Humble Fish forum. I may post over there too. It's a fish. They may like those. I think I was using mostly the wax-based pencils last week for this. So let's grab, oh, I kind of dumped them all in one section. That makes my life easier because I didn't put them where they belonged. I just kind of stuck the ones from last weekend. what else do I need? There was actually, I think this should work for now. Okay, so just as a warning, if you are watching this wanting like just a straight art lesson, this isn't for you. That's what Patreon is for as little as $4. And here's my advertisement. I should start doing those, like, you know how you watch an advertisement and they're like, this podcast is brought to you by Sleep Number. I should do that, but for myself. I have to come up with a super cheesy way to do that, though. But if you're looking for just straight art lessons where we're talking about the values, we're talking a little bit more about like why we do certain choices and all that stuff. It's just straight art lesson. That is what Patreon is going to be for as little as $4 a month. You get access to all of my longer tutorials. There are 300 available immediately when you sign up, and you get a new one every single week. And I work in multiple mediums, so there's a lot there for you. What else? Yeah, so that is what you want to check out if you are looking for just straight art lesson. With these Friday chats or the live streams, this is my chance to get to just hang out and talk to you guys and ramble about my bad cow or the frogs or the fish or whatever you guys want to chat about. Except politics. We don't go there. Okay. Cat's Hair Pick says it's 97 here plus the humidity. It feels like 106. Ouch. Where are you? Oh, that sucks. It here, what is it right now? 93. I haven't really been outside. I don't think I've been outside at all today. I've just opened the door. I do have a fly in here, so you're probably going to hear me complain about that throughout the live stream. A fly snuck in. I've been working on getting the boys to, actually this is not the color I want. The boys are they've gotten bad about as soon as I open the back door, they just ram over me in order to get in or out. It doesn't matter what. They just think door open means rush through, like, what are the things, the bull runs? Yeah, that's what happens. And I'm getting injured because they're ramming over me. They're stepping on my feet. Like, it's getting ridiculous. So I'm working with them, which it's not them, because they are really good about it, making them hold and then giving them the clear to come in. But that means my door has to stay open while I make them wait. So they're doing really good with it, but I'm getting more flies in the house from keeping the door open, and it's really annoying. Oh, these colors. So right now I'm using more of my wax-based pencils. Even though I am working on sanded paper, I'm working on the Luxe Archival, and I've used powder blender for most of this, for the base layers. But now that I'm getting on these upper layers where I really want stuff not to smudge out too much, that's why I'm switching over to my higher wax content pencils. So like my Derwent Luminance is not a thing. I'm just making up things now. My Derwent Lightfast or Derwent Lightfast, which are listed as an oil-based pencil, but in practice, they have a higher wax content than polychromos, so they stay put a little bit better on this where I don't want it to blend, or my Caran d'Ache Luminance. Cat's Art Picks is in Maryland. Oh, isn't it usually cooler up there for you guys? Tara said, I went to get my coffee and nearly made a mug of instant gravy instead. Such a close one. I would have been horrified. I'm horrified even thinking about it. Oh, God. 68 in the UK. Oh my gosh, feels like 168 here. 68. Oh my. Here in Texas, 68 is like dream weather for us because we're used to it being warm, like really, really hot. So yeah, if we even hit the 70s at nighttime, it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Which is like, even at night, we're in the 80s. So yeah, does a bug zapper work? Yes, kinda. So the way the bug zappers will draw the bug in, and you constantly hear I don't want to, I just don't. So what I have this thing, it has a blue light in it, and it has a fan inside, and it draws them in. It doesn't use pesticides or anything like that, and it draws them in, and they go into this little container at the bottom, but they can't get out easily, and it will dehydrate them. That thing's been amazing. That plus the ceiling fan on the patio. Those two things have been wonderful. The thing is, I'm just leaving the door open too long and getting the boys in the house. Like, just standing there, no matter what you use, you're holding a back door open, bugs are coming in. And so it's not been as bad as I would expect for how much it's been open, but I'm getting like, I don't know, maybe one a day. Stop itching nose. And I don't like the sticky traps because birds can get stuck to them, or even if you get the ones, so I got the one that had the cage around it so birds couldn't get stuck, but I had a butterfly get stuck. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. That's it. I'm done. I'm no more, not even messing with sticky traps. So Yeah, this thing has been working well, the little dehydrator thing. The cool thing is I can check it every so often, and if a bug, let's say a bigger moth or something that I don't want in there, I can set it free. It didn't hurt it. It's perfectly safe inside there. So what I do though for the bugs that are killed overnight, I can dump it out in the back garden. The birds love them. So the little dehydrated bugs, it's totally safe, no chemicals, and then the birds get to eat them. It actually works out really nicely. Cat's Heart Pig said the local gas and electric company is taking over the air conditioning to save the grid from burning out. Ouch. Okay. So I'm just starting to get that texture in here on this guy. This is actually smoother in here. I'm not going to worry about the legs yet. I'm just going to worry about his body. The legs are the part that's the funnest, so I'm going to save that for the end because that's the part that makes him look really good. I like to say, I don't know, do you guys ever do that? I save my favorite parts so often for the end. I will typically do the eyes and the nose like on an animal first, so I get my darker values in there. But for the most part, like the parts that I don't know, my favorite parts end up getting saved for the end more often than not. I need a kind of a lighter violet. Will you work? Let's find out. No. Let's see. Derwent Light Fast has some. Ooh, you've got some interesting colors. Ooh, you've got some good colors in here that I think will work well. Grab some of those. So the pencils that I'm using today are my favorites. Faber-Castell Polychromos, Derwent Light Fast, and Caran d'Ache Luminance are my like go-to brands. Paul said, oh, that's more of a humane alternative to zappers. Well, I don't know, because zappers, at least it's an instant death, where here they're trapped in a thing and they can't get water. But because the fan is supposed to dehydrate them fairly quickly, I don't know. I mean, the fact that the birds are able to eat them because, like, that's pretty cool. And the fact that I can check that because I have had moths in there that I'm like, oh, get out, buddy. You don't need to be, I'm not trying to get rid of you. And I can set him free and he's perfectly healthy and he flies off. So a zapper, I wouldn't have that opportunity. I don't know. Everything's kind of pros and cons. But I haven't had any bugs in this thing that besides the moths where I was like, oh, that's bad. Like there haven't been ladybugs or anything that on the sticky trap thing I had caught and I'm like, this is not what I want. Or like if that was the other thing, I was super worried. If I saw a jumping spider on that sticky trap, I probably would have cried like a pansy. Like that would have definitely, I don't know, do pansies cry? Maybe I'm just making stuff up. But there are definitely some critters that on those things I would be very upset about. Speaking of, oh, I didn't get it. Okay, hold on. I forgot to bring it in here because I have to share with you guys. This thing is so cute. Wait 1 second. Oh, no, I did bring it in. Okay. So, if you were here Wednesday night, you heard I found a jumping spider, a tan jumping spider who was starving and thirsty in my hallway. So I decided she lives on my desk now. I ordered her a nice big enclosure that should be here anytime now. And I've been buying little accessories. They're really fun to make. Their enclosures are not like super picky. So I got these cute little miniatures to stick in her enclosure. Look, it's a little art table. It came the same color as that, just the unfinished wood, but you couldn't, like the palette didn't show up well. So last night I painted it teal and gave it that nice distressed look. How cute is this little art? It's got little paint brushes, little paints or tubes of paint. So that's gonna go in her enclosure and I'm gonna try, we'll see what happens once it gets here, but my goal is to make it look like it's an art table set up outside under a tree. I don't know, we'll see. And then I got this little miniature palette paint brushes, like the whole little kit. Are these not adorable? So yeah, it's super cute. Let's see. Paul said, yeah, what's it called? So I can purchase on Amazon real quick. Let me see. I didn't get mine on Amazon. Check Bed Bath & Beyond because their price, well, I have the membership thing, so I already get a discount, but their price was way better than Amazon's. And I got the like deluxe one. It has a stand and it's all prettier than the one on Amazon, but for the same price. So I got the better one for less, but let me see. Hold on. Who did I buy that from? Let me pull up I bet it'll be in here, Bed Bath & Beyond. Let's see. I'm going to take the time to find this for you guys because I'm actually pretty impressed with this. It's not going to kill like or catch all the bugs, obviously. I was having a problem with mosquitoes were my thing. Before I put that out there, if I sat outside at all, I'd have like 5 mosquitoes. They love my feet and ankle. Well, probably because that's what's exposed. I'm always barefooted, but they love my feet and ankles. And oh, that was getting miserable. Like I couldn't go outside just to check on the dogs. Like when I was waiting for them to go to the bathroom or whatever, like I would just be covered. It was getting so bad. So that was the thing that really pushed me to get this. And some of my neighbors had recommended it. So let's see. Where is it? This is actually taking me longer to look up than I thought it would. What is that called? I bet maybe on Amazon I can just look up bug. It's not that though. Bug electric. You do have to plug it in. Let's just see what comes up. Nope, nope, nope. These are all zappers. It is not a zapper. Crap, why can't I think of what it was called? I was hoping it would be in my Bed Bath & Beyond receipts, and it should be. This is taking a stupidly long time, but now we're on a mission, so I'm going to waste your time too while I find this. The Fly. August 11th. No, that was the more recent. That's why, because I ordered it like 2 months ago. Now that I think about it, that's my problem. There's a coupon. There's another coupon. I wish there was a way. You know, it would be faster just to log into my dang account. I don't use comments. Well, I thought it would be faster to do that way. So that's why. Bed Bath & Beyond. Let's log in and see my sign in. Freeze up. I appreciate the freezing. Order history. God, this is taking a stupidly... I don't need the coupon. I need my order history. Here we go. Now I've got to wait because it's loading. And now it's stuck. Here we go. No, stop. And it just went away. Dynatrap. I just saw the name. Look up Dynatrap. We're just going to type in Dynatrap on Amazon. I'm pretty sure that was it. D-Y-N-A-T-R-A-P. Yes, Dynatrap. D-Y-N-A-T-R-A-P. That is the one. It was cheaper on Bed Bath & Beyond. That price, yeah, I want to say for the deluxe, like I had a stand. In the stand, it looks like it's metal. It's not. It's all plastic. But I want to say I paid like $60 and it was $100 and it was over $100 if I got it from Amazon. So that is one item I would check with the coupons. Bed Bath & Beyond was good. Dynatrap. But yeah, no, I wouldn't have thought that it would work as well as it has, but it's been good. Like surprisingly so. And it's so far the thing that I'm most comfortable using for like and that's the other thing. So I don't like using chemicals. I've got all those frogs that live on my patio and they're adorable and I like them. But, I mean, I don't want to use the chemicals anyway, but the frogs, because some of those bugs will kind of hang out around where the light is, the frogs hang out under it. So it kind of works out. It's like a little feeding area for them. Oh, good. Yes, Nick's got the link. Thank you, Nick. But that thing I've been impressed with. Like I said, it's not 100%, but the thing that was really cool for me, the biggest deal was, and I just leave it on all the time, but it was for the mosquitoes. Were so bad on my patio, so bad. And we're getting to the point like I may have to spray a chemical. Like that's not safe. Like mosquitoes that's a dangerous thing. I either have to spray a chemical on me or spray it outside. But if I spray it outside, the frogs are exposed to that out there. And that's really just bad. So not my frogs, but you know, the ones that live in my yard. So this has been an absolutely amazing alternative without chemicals. Frogs, if you're not aware. Oh, throw my pencils on the floor. Frogs are extremely sensitive to anything in the environment. They're considered what do they call it? An indication species. It's like so low on the food chain. Well, not low on the food chain so much, just that they're so sensitive. If the frogs in an area are starting to die, you kind of know something is like that's one of your first indications. Something is very wrong in the environment. So yeah, those guys are pretty sensitive. And they're so cute. I weird out my neighbor with my love of spiders and frogs and stuff. I keep joking, he's got a baby boy. I'm like, your son is going to love when I babysit him because he's going to want to come over to my house to see all the spiders and the frogs and all the snake, all the stuff. My neighbor is more, what is the word? I call him offensive names for it. We'll go with pansy. He's very like hesitant with a lot of them. He thinks the spiders are terrible. So I was like, do you want to see my new spider? She's in a cup. I sent him pictures. He's like, oh God. I think his wife is braver with the spiders and stuff than he is. Gypsy Heart said, happy Friday, Lisa, and all started on the Leafy Sea Dragon yet? I'm so too excited to see that. I have. Remind me at the end, I'll show you what I've got on the background. I was playing with like trying to get, I wanted the background super dark, but I didn't want it just straight black like it was in the photo. I'm really excited with how it came out. I did it last night. So tonight I get to start on the Leafy Sea Dragon himself. I'm excited. Lori said, mosquitoes have been killer this year. My legs look like they've been through a meat grinder. That's how it was for me. I've never, like, and I have a bad reaction to mosquitoes. So this I've had issues with before. In the apartment I was at, we lived right on the Denton Creek, right? You could see it from my apartment balcony. It like ran right behind my building. So we would get a lot of mosquitoes. And there were a lot of very dormant areas where if the water's not moving, the mosquitoes are like, yay, breeding grounds. And so we would get them really bad back there. And I got to where every time I would get bit, my foot would swell up like a balloon. Like, I'm not kidding, balloon. You could poke it. You'd walk and feel it jiggle. Like, that's what it would do every step. It was the most disgusting feeling. Like, there's jello in my foot. I was having such a bad reaction to them. So I got to where I'd have to wear shoes out. I don't normally wear shoes, so I'd have to wear shoes outside. So, I mean, I wear shoes when I go in public, but not at home. So anyway, this year, luckily, I haven't really had issues with this. I don't know why I was swelling up that year. I haven't really had too many issues as far as that goes, but I was just getting bit like my ankles and feet were just covered. It was so much worse than like so many more like number-wise bites than I normally get. So yeah, that thing really, every once in a while I'll get a bite, but it's very uncommon since I put that out there. Like, it really made a big difference. So I didn't think it would work. I got it going, I'm kind of desperate right now. Let's see. Some neighbors recommended it, which means very little, but yeah, it's been amazing. It's funny, me and the neighbor that I was talking about that doesn't like the frogs and the spiders and stuff, we both bought it at the same time. So I sent him a text going, I was influenced by the neighborhood group, and he sends me his on, he bought his on Amazon, and he's like, I got one too. I have one coming too. Let's see. Grasshoppers are the lowest. I don't think they're the lowest. The lowest, it wouldn't be like a worm or something smaller as like the lowest on the food chain. I mean, I don't like grasshoppers because they're eating my plants. My husband loves them. Rhonda said, hi from Melbourne, Australia. Finally made a Saturday morning live stream. Welcome. Saturday morning. Gosh, it's so, I always am weirded out by the time. Saturday morning. That's tomorrow for me. That's like 24 hours away. And then it's house cleaning day. Saturdays are the day I clean my house. I can't believe this week went by so fast. I can't believe it's already time to clean again. Now, I don't care if these little dots and spots are exact to the reference photo. I hit my mic. Close is close enough. Actually, let's move you back a little bit. I don't care if you're on camera, but I don't need to be hitting you with pencils. Anne said, same thing with mosquitoes here in Slovenia. As soon as I step outside, there are a million mosquitoes around. This year is even worse than years before. Do you guys have West Nile viruses? Like, I don't know where that's spread to. I don't know. Do you guys have to deal with that up there? Because that's been an issue here. Like, I'm afraid of them. Paul said, oh, and I hate when mosquitoes swarm like they're in a group. Makes me icky. There's nothing good about mosquitoes. They're like lots of bugs. I'm like, oh, they're kind of cute. I have a spider right now. She's huge. I don't know what kind of spider she is. She looks more like a crab than a spider. Like, she is big. She's taken over part of my bougainvillea that I'm trying to do what am I doing with her? A bonsai. Anyway, she's attached part to that and part to my ceiling fan. And I'm like, I just don't have the heart to break that web. It's kind of like, it's ugly, but she's big, and eat the bugs. Eat the other bugs. Also, I don't know if it's safe for me to touch you. She stays there. But like, I can find weird bugs where I'm like, oh, that's cute. Like, even though you're kind of scared, kind of like give me a little bit of the heebie-jeebies, I still find something cute. Not mosquitoes. Screw those guys. Julie said, hi, I'm looking into watercolors since English is not my forte. Let's try that again. I am looking into watercolors and was wondering why you went with Schmincke brand. I've been trying to decide between these and Daniel Smith watercolors. So I went with Schmincke because one of my friends is an excellent watercolor artist and she recommended them. They have really good light fast ratings. They've got overall great reviews, and I'm not sure what the difference is between that and the Daniel Smith. I know Daniel Smith, weren't they the ones that had some issues because they said they were using certain pigments and it turned out not to be what they said it was? I don't know. I know that I want to say, was that the company, or I don't mean to badmouth something if I'm getting that wrong. Fact check me on that. But no, I just went by my friend's recommendation because I didn't know what to get, and it's not something that I'm like, I don't have time to research this. You know, what should I get? And that's what she's like, hands down, these are the ones to get, and I love them. I think one of the things too you want to remember when it comes to a lot of these supplies, as long as they're light fast, there's certain brands that I don't think you can really go wrong with. Like I'm pretty sure if I would have gone with Daniel Smith, they've got a good reputation besides whatever the drama with the pigment thing was, if that was actually them. You're probably going to be happy with them. I mean, it's the same with the colored pencils. If you get one of the top brands, meaning I would call the top brands Derwent Drawing. Yeah, Derwent Drawing is good, but that's not a full set. They're more accessories for your other pencils. Derwent Light Fast, your Faber-Castell Polychromos, or Caran d'Ache Luminance. Any of those three, you're going to be happy no matter what. Like, there's pros and cons to all of them, and things I like a little bit better about one over another, but overall, you can't go wrong with any of them. And I feel like Daniel Smith, this is the impression that I got. With the Daniel Smith and with Schmincke, they're top brands. Like, either way, you're probably going to be happy with them if you're going with one of those. Daniel Smith overall is reputable. So yeah, there you go. That's what Paul says. What kind of pencils am I using? The links are in the video description, but the pencils I just mentioned as my favorite pencils, that's what I'm using. And I am working on the my brain shut off again. Lux Archival sanded paper. Let's get some more of these dots. Start focusing. Me focus. Yeah, that won't last. Cat's Heart Pig said, crazy as it sounds, putting a little bit of toothpaste on a bite helps it to stop itching so bad. Interesting. You know what else toothpaste works well on? I mean, don't usually have this issue like I did as a teenager, but if you get like zits, I would put it on a zit overnight and it would like dry it out without having to pop it or hurt your skin or do any damage. Like, TMI, it's kind of gross. But I would just sleep with toothpaste on my face in different areas. It worked pretty well. It would keep it like those ones that would be like deep, you couldn't really do anything about, but they were hurting and, you know, teenager stuff. And yeah, that was another thing toothpaste was good for. But I haven't tried it on a mosquito bite. I will. I have done for mosquito bites too, where I took nail polish, like clear nail polish, and painted that over it. That made a big difference for me on some of the really itchy spots. I just kept, and I would have to do it like every few hours because it would start to peel off. I guess my skin's oily. I guess it explains why I was putting toothpaste on my face as a teenager. But yeah, putting like clear nail polish. I would use Ciche Vitae. I forget how you say it. It's the one that I use for my top coat for my fingernails. It dries almost instantly, so I would just paint that over the mosquito bites. That definitely helped. It burns when you first put on it, which when something's itching, burning is definitely better. But that worked out real well for me. I have to try the toothpaste though. Toothpaste is a magical thing. When the zombie virus comes, I will be the person with a bag full of toothpaste, a toothbrush, and hand lotion. Dry skin freaks me out. And so probably, and a razor, because hairy legs also weird me out. Like, I have a feeling I'm gonna be the idiot who is eaten by zombies because I was determined to take a bath and shave my legs in rainwater, like gutter water somewhere. Like, I'm gonna be that idiot. You don't want to be in my zombie group. Let's see. Starving Artist Collective said Daniel Smith makes a big issue about using real gemstone pigments in their Primatic line, but it's not altogether true. Think Holbein pencils, Light Fast, and Fisher 400 archival. Gotcha. Okay, so it was Daniel Smith. I did get that. Also, I love your comparison. Paul said, you're giving these 5-minute ridiculous life hacks. Some of them actually work, though. Some of them are ones that I've used for, well, God, I was a teenager a very long time ago. But, I mean, they're actually useful. I tried some of the stuff, like people will come up with different things, like the neighborhood group was doing the whole, oh, put a bar of ivory soap out and that's going to keep the mosquitoes away. I can lie about things too. Should I just lie about things? Because I can make crap up and make it go viral, because that's apparently what the ivory soap thing is. There's some weird claims where it's like, that doesn't do anything, like, at all. So yeah, there's a lot of old wives' tale products out there that definitely are not useful. One of the ones drives me crazy, Pinterest. Dear God, there are aspects about Pinterest I love and aspects that anger me so bad because it's lies. It is full of just dirty, dirty lies. So one of them, if you ever see those ads and they're like, look, get glow-in-the-dark paint, like the spray paint, glow-in-the-dark Rust-Oleum spray paint. You can spray paint a flower pot or rocks and stones, and then it'll show this picture where this pathway is just glowing from glow-in-the-dark rocks. Or the pots are just glowing, and they're so glowy from all the space. I almost swore. BS, I'll say that. What it is, those pots, they're plastic and they have a light inside of them. There's no glow-in-the-dark anything on them. They're plugged in. That's electrical. That's not the glow-in-the-dark sprays don't work like what these ads, and they go viral every so often all over Facebook, and it drives me crazy because it's just not true. Then there's another one, the one with the glow-in-the-dark pathway thing, or rocks with glow-in-the-dark paint. You know how glow-in-the-dark paint stands out with it like a blue light or UV light? So those photos were taken with specialty lights on them to make them look that way. That's not like there go the dark frogs. If you were to spray glow in the dark anything on rocks or whatever, you pretty much aren't going to even notice them when they're out in the yard. Like, you won't notice. You have to have specialty lighting on it, which no one does. No one does that. So yeah, those ones drive me crazy. There's a life hack type one on orchids, propagating orchids. Orchids don't propagate that way. They're showing you to use methods that would work on like a succulent or a rose bush, or like there's different things that they're showing you can do. That's not how you propagate a Phalaenopsis orchid. Like, that will not work. And it's just a lie. And it gets spread all over. So let's go ahead and talk about Facebook. So Facebook, you can't report it, or if you do report it, like, this isn't true. This whole, like, this is how you propagate, is how you kill somebody. People are just going to kill their orchids trying to propagate it in the methods that they're showing. Chop it in half. Now you have two. No, now you have one dead. That doesn't make two. So that whole video was crap. And Facebook doesn't care. Yet they filter everything else with their fact checkers, which are just, it's so frustrating. Yet these lies, like Pinterest style, life hack style lie, they're just straight out lies. Have you guys seen the ones where they go through the life hacks and it's like, here's a method to wash your laundry, or here's a method to cook soup by using a coffee pot? That's not making life any easier. You're making a mess that's going to be a nightmare to clean. Like, that is not even remotely. Why do you keep moving? Stop moving. Why are you wiggly today? I don't know. You're tightened. My thing has an attitude today. What am I? Oh, because I'm hitting the cord. Never mind. I'm doing it. Anyway, let's see. I'm missing a bunch. Here we go. Rhonda says, lavender oil on bites works as well for some people. I've not tried that. Paul said, you know what? I think it would work. There's alcohol in a lot of essential oils, and I think the alcohol stinging it is what makes it feel better. Because if you put alcohol in it, it'll feel better too. I don't know that that's a good choice, but it does feel better because it makes it burn. I wonder if that's why the oil, maybe not. I genuinely don't know. Paul said, favorite essential oils. I'm not an essential oils person. So a lot of essential oils are dangerous for your pets. So people think, oh, it's natural, so it's safer. It's not necessarily. I mean, the smell of, which one is it? Was it spearmint that I really just like the smell of, but I wouldn't really want my house to smell like it. I just like smelling the bottle. I got one of that. I forget why I got that one. Oh, I remember. House I lived in years ago. Rat got into the wall and died, and it smelled terrible. And one of the things, your options were cut open the drywall to get it out, or you just have to let it stay. But it smelled so bad, so they said I think it was spearmint oil on a cotton ball and just like stick it in the area by the wall. That actually did help. It made it tolerable. But yeah, that was really gross. Anyway, and there wasn't a real rat problem there at all. It just one happened to get in the house and die. I don't know if the house was using some sort of rat kill, which would make sense. I don't use those like decon and the rat kill, like the actual killer things. That's not safe, because if you've got rat poison in a rat and that rat goes somewhere where it's eaten by another animal, that's super not safe. So there are better alternatives than rat poison. But I think that's what happened. I want to say, if I remember, this was so long ago, I think that we found out the homeowner was using a rat killer and then it went into the wall and died. And so I was like, ooh, that's lovely. Anyway, I don't use essential oil normally, so I can't say. Taylor said, is there a specific website that you prefer to get your reference photos from? It depends on what I'm doing. So paid, I go with, like if I need a coral, I use Tidal Gardens. If I, their Patreon, patreon.com/Tidal Gardens. If I want like one where I can just pay for a pack of images, wildlifereferencephotos.com has an amazing selection. Like I've bought so many photos from them. I should just sign my check over to them some days. And then for like normal, like just free, royalty free, I check Pixabay and Unsplash are my go-tos. Paul said, I love to try those creative candles, i.e. burger-shaped candle, tequila candles. I've not tried those. I don't think I've even seen those. Joseph said, sometimes they crack open a glow stick and use the liquid inside to paint too. Cheaters. Phyllis said, I have put ivory soap in the foot of pantyhose and hung them from outdoor faucets to wash my hands when gardening. Now that is a genius. That is how the soap should work. You are using it properly. That is freaking genius. Like, I'm kind of excited about that. I like it. Gypsy Heart said, I finally used up the last of my gallon of Liquitex pouring medium I bought 4 years ago that sat forever. Mine's been sitting about that long too. Since I used it, of course, I'm out now and I have loads of more ideas. Figures. I haven't done one of those in a long time. Where are we? Paul said, I have tried reporting a Facebook post because it's clearly violating their community guidelines, and they come back to me and said they found nothing wrong with it. Oh, I've had that happen several times. One of the ones that drives me crazy. So Facebook, you're not allowed to sell pets. That means fish, coral, anything alive like that. You can do plants. But because PETA owns a large portion of Facebook, they got involved and set some rules. And PETA is not about helping animals in any sense of the imagination. PETA is more likely to kill an animal they get their hand on than it. They think that animals are better off dead than under our care. That means cats, that means dogs, that means everything. Their end goal is, and someone always go, no, it's not. Look into the foundation you're supporting because you're the one who's wrong, not me. Like, look into what their core foundation, what they believe. But anyway, I'm all for protecting animals. That's not how you do it, though. Anyway, PETA, where was I going with my PETA? Oh, they got involved and said you can't sell animals on Facebook. So the only people who can sell is if they have like a store. So that means puppy mill dogs, because pet stores will have a store. Who do pet stores sell? If it's not a rescue, they're selling puppy mill dogs. Like Petland and those crap pet stores that just, God, they need to go out of business. So anyway, but good breeders, people who are breeding on a small scale, breeding for health purposes, for all the right reasons, those are the ones who aren't able to post stuff. So I've reported when someone's selling what is clearly a backyard bred, like people in my neighborhood who are like, here's my dogs because I won't spay or neuter them and I just keep letting them have puppies and I'm selling them to you guys. I've reported it to Facebook and had them come back and, no, this doesn't violate anything. So if you're a backyard breeder, puppy miller, it's okay. If you're a responsible breeder, that's who we've got issues with. And it's like, I know somebody's going to go, there's no such thing as a responsible breeder. Do you like dogs? Where do you plan to get them if no one is responsibly breeding them? You only get puppy mill dogs. You only get street dogs. You only get dogs who are not bred for the purpose of having certain health aspects, certain personality traits, certain things that fit like the type of dogs who don't end up so much in the humane society. Instead, we're just stuck with puppy mills or backyard breeders that are not doing anything responsibly. But anyway, this is where all my thumbs down are going to come from with people who don't agree with me on this. But yeah, so that was really frustrating to see how much with Facebook, they're like, oh no, they pay for advertisements, so we're going to go ahead and let them violate our rules because we get paid for it. But somebody who's responsibly breeding, gone. You're not even allowed to share that you have puppy. They've gotten so strict. So they used to have Facebook groups that would be like an Italian Greyhound breeder would just post when they have puppies, and they're not selling on there. They're just posting, look, here's a new litter, blah blah blah. They were getting shut down for that, for even saying they had puppies at all. It got bad. God, Facebook is crap. Why people don't move to MeWe? Oh wait, I know why. Because they're like, my friends and family aren't there yet. Well, when everyone starts going there, we can all be there. Like, we just have to start migrating. Start the migration. Gypsy Heart said, I love the life hacks that clip to clearly a whole different item, not even remotely close to the original. Like, quick, they won't notice if we do a million jump cuts. I so know exactly what you're talking about. Tara said, to come back to, there you are. There are a lot that actually poison dogs and only take 0.4 seconds to affect on us through our old factory nerves. Oh, the poisons? Yeah, I think, is it vitamin E, vitamin K, vitamin something. I forget what it is. There's a vitamin that is in dog food that will actually counter a lot of the poisons that are in rat poison. Kind of interesting thing. Let's see. Shayna said, just join. Have you tried any British desserts or dishes? If so, what's your favorite? No. I don't even know what is considered British. Like, I have no idea what falls under that category. I'm very boring. I am not like I guess you call them foodies. Like, food is not that big of a deal to me. Who's chewing? Itchy boy. Wait, no chewing. So yeah, I'm not although I saw it was like a Turkish candy. It looked like a fruity and it was covered in like a sugar. I don't know. It looked really good. And I looked up, they have them on Amazon. That I'm tempted to buy. Although I'm kind of on my kick again. Like, I need to stop with sugar because I was getting really bad with the whole, like, I have enough calories to have a king size Reese's candy, peanut butter cups candy. Yeah, I don't need to be eating that much sugar. Like, it was getting bad. The interesting thing too, I noticed, so I started eating a bunch of sugar again, like Hershey's bars, and I was eating all the candy with the sugar, and I started having munchies really bad. So I was still within my allowed calories for the day, but I was having munchies to where I wanted to eat all the time. And a few days ago, I was like, this is my last time, like, no more for a really long time. I have to stop with this. The munchies are gone. Like, that nonstop need, like this feel, and it wasn't that I was hungry. I was eating my normal healthy meals, but I was still like, I just wanted to eat constantly. And when I stopped eating the candy, and it only took a few days, like, I was like, wow, those cravings of nonstop munching, gone. But no, anyway, that has nothing to do with what you asked. No, I don't know what British desserts or dishes are. You'll have to give me some ideas. Phyllis said, I guess you and Nick are going to buy ivory soap later. Probably. That is like such a good idea. Let's see. Drawing Girl said, do you have any tips for drawing with oil pastels? Yes, OMS. Or like a mineral spirits, paint thinner. I like odorless mineral spirits, so Gamsol or Mona Lisa odorless is what I normally use. That will make, like, you can blend your oil pastels with that, and it's life-changing if you're not already using that for blending. So that is how I like to work with them. The thing that I don't like, and every once in a while I get in a mood like, oh, I want to do oil pastels again. Like, that's kind of a fun medium. My problem with oil pastels is they never really dry all the way, so you can always smudge them. You have to get them behind glass or something to protect them, and I'm just too lazy for that crap. But my tip would be try blending with a little bit of odorless mineral spirits. It's amazing. You can get nice clean edges. You can get blending. Like, it's really cool. Taylor said, what kind of dart frogs do you have and what do you feed them? So in here, I've got my Santa Isabel dart frogs. That's what you're hearing here. And then in the other room, I've got my bumblebee dart frogs or Lucamellas, and they all eat wingless fruit flies. So they can't fly, they can't get away, they're not escaping. But yeah, that is what I feed them. I need to feed them today, actually. They're really cute. Melissa said, vitamin K, thank you. I always get that backwards for some reason. My husband used to work for Terminex, so he knows all that stuff, so I always get it backwards, and he corrects me and rolls his eyes because he's told me a million times. I just thought that was kind of interesting. Yeah, Zara, you are so right. That's why they put sugar in everything to keep you craving for your food. Yep, because you keep wanting to eat, you keep buying that product, you keep buying more food. Absolutely, and it's the weirdest thing when I stop eating it. Munchie's gone. I'm just eating my normal meal and I feel content. I'm not like walking around the house going, I need a snack. What snack I need something. I need a snack on something. Gone. Like, it is crazy the difference when you stop eating it. Paul said, I didn't know you could use Gamsol with oil pastels. Yep, try it. Don't use a lot. Like, you don't want it to put all over. Just use a little. It is amazing. Taylor said, I currently have 3 crested geckos, 3 leopard geckos, and a sulcata, I'm saying that wrong, tortoise, and a gray tree frog. Really would like to get some dart frogs. Yeah, the dart frogs are cool. The dart frogs are probably one of my easiest pets. I mean, you have to breed or keep cultures of fruit flies. But I actually need to make one today. You buy a fruit fly culture, you put whatever, little shredded wood chip thingies in there, shredded. It looks like noodles, but it's not, it's wood. You stick that in there. You make a new batch once a week throughout the oldest batch. So you have to rotate it so you don't get mites that kill them all. But they're actually not a difficult, care for them. They're in their bioactive tank. You keep the humidity super high and they are pretty happy. They're a really easy thing once the tank is set up. So I go bioactive on all of them. Actually, besides my frogs that are in quarantine, all my frogs are in bioactive. But so I've got in those enclosures, I have the little tiny, what are they called? Dwarf white isopods and springtails. I need to put a bunch more springtails in there. I breed those too. I have a culture of them that I just keep going. It's been going for like a year. Those are actually really easy. So yeah, that's probably the easiest animal. The tree frogs are a bigger pain because you have to go with crickets, and crickets are annoying. So that's actually why I kept that spider. Because I was like, well, I already have to keep crickets, so I've already got food for her. Anyway, but yeah, they're really, really easy once you get it. As long as you've got their setup proper, I spray their tank down, turn on the lights once a day. That's about, throw some dusted fruit flies in. Super easy. Yeah, that's true. Brent Denizart said, warning, using Gamsol with oil pastels will cause the pastel look to go away. It will look like a regular oil painting, which is fine as long as that's the look you want. Good point. It is the look I want, so works for me. Are bearded dragons expensive to feed? So bearded dragons are really cool because you can feed them crickets, you can feed them meal, they eat a lot of different things, which is nice. And one of the things I always liked about them, let's say you're in the middle of a winter storm and you're like, crap, I can't get to a pet store right now, but my bearded dragon is hungry. They can eat vegetables, like lettuce. There are other things that you can feed it. They'll eat things that are alive or dead, or like fruity. They make bearded dragon food, so you don't have to always have. And that's a bit of a concern for me with the red-eyed tree frogs. With the crickets, that's it. That is my option. I mean, I can do dubia roaches. I can do a few other things, but that's not necessarily any easier. Like if those crickets are not alive, they're not eating it. So keeping about every 3 weeks, I order about 1,500 crickets. Ooh, this is actually looking good. So that will, this is still moving. About 1,500 crickets, I would say, every 3 weeks. I order from Josh's Frogs. And I have to have it in the heat when it's warm. I have to have them overnighted. So you've got additional shipping costs. Although, as long as you're ordering a large amount, the shipping isn't that bad. Compared to like going to Petco or whatever, my price per cricket is much less, even with shipping. But I have to order a lot to make it worth that, and then I have to cleaning the cricket cage every week. They're a pain. They're a pain for sure. But with bearded dragons, the nice thing is you're not limited to just that. Like you'll give them that too, but you've got other options. So that's nice. But they definitely, I think bearded dragons for sure take a lot more care. You know, you've got to clean their enclosure more. You do have a lot more, I think, with them. But they're one of my favorite reptiles. Like I love bearded dragons. I've tried talking my husband into, like, when he's talked about wanting different critters, I'm like, get a bearded dragon. They're just such cool critters. But you need a lot as far as like their heat lamps, and they're like they do have more requirements. They're a little bit more involved in their care than actually. Funny story. So we had a bearded dragon years ago, back when we first got married, and I didn't know my husband was doing this, and I didn't find out till about midnight one night, and I didn't used to be nocturnal. So I go in and use the bathroom, getting ready for bed, brushing my teeth and everything. Toilet's backed up. Like, why would our toilet, we only had one, it was a small, tiny apartment. My husband didn't know you could not flush paper towels down a toilet. So he had been taking, when he'd clean up the bearded dragon's tank, a paper towel, scoop up the poop, and throw the whole paper towel into the toilet. That same night, he hadn't been feeling well, and he had taken NyQuil, passed the heck out. We didn't live, I mean, it was Southern California, so nowhere's really the best area, but it was not the safest area. And I'm over here, we didn't have a plunger, so I'm over here after midnight driving my butt to Walmart. I needed to go to bed, but I couldn't, that was our only bathroom. So I could go buy a plunger because my genius husband was never taught. Actually, maybe I should blame his parents for that. How did you not teach your son you don't put paper towels or anything, like, you don't put that. So yeah, that's my bearded dragon. Like, I will never forget him doing that. Good news is he's never done anything like that again. Lesson learned. But I tried waking him up because I was going to make him go to the store. Like, it's not safe. Young girl, don't need to be going to the store. He couldn't wake up. Could not get him up because of the NyQuil. Yeah, that was fun. I was not amused. Let's see. Where are we? Sarah said, I love oil paint, but it's too messy and I always end up everywhere. Water-based mediums are easier to clean. You know, the funny thing is that you can get into good habits. Oil painting shouldn't be messy. Like, I don't end up with it. It is rare it ends up where it shouldn't be. I'm cleaner because you have to be careful with it. That's the thing, is to learn to be very careful with what you touch. If you can get that down, it's actually not super messy. Now, the only thing with me that I am like, okay, it is a bit of a pain, cleaning my brushes. I hate cleaning my oil brushes. But besides that, the actual painting process is really, once you kind of get a flow going of, okay, I set my brush here and it's set up in a way it can't roll off and end up on the floor and get paint on the floor. Like, once you get all of that worked out, it's not a dirty medium. Cleaning the brushes is a pain though. That'll give you. Drying Girl said, thanks, what kind of paper should I use for oil pastels? For me, it's very difficult to layer and get details with them. You know, I can't say that I have a preference. It's been so many years since I used oil pastels. I don't even remember what I liked. Somebody else can probably give you some suggestions. It's been a really long time. I think I just used like pastel paper. I'm pretty sure that's what I used, like Canson MeTense type paper. I think it was a little bit thicker. God, it's been so long, I don't remember. I know, you know, it was thicker. I do remember. I don't know. That's about as much that I can give you right now. Angela said, I was able to join today. Yay! Quick question. How do you create a glowing effect with colored pencil on white paper? So when you want something to look glowing, do you mean glowing like actual glow in the dark? Because that I don't recommend for any art really, because it's not archival. So for the type of work that I do, it's not a fittable. That's not even a word. It's not a suitable. It's not a fit, and suitable is fittable. But maybe we're just gonna pretend it's a real word. I'll just keep using it over and over again and convince people it's a thing. But where was the actual question? Oh, the glowing effect. So if you mean just making something look like it's glowing, contrast. Your darks next to it, if they're dark, then your lights, like the yellows, typically you're going to have, well, no, you can even do a glow with like blues. But it's the high contrast between the lights and the darks that'll give you that glow. You've got to make the darks next to it really dark. But like, if you mean just it's going to stay a white background and you want it to glow, you can't get the contrast. You're not going to get the same effect. Let's see. Paul said, there's a gecko that has been squatting in a hard-to-reach part of our attic, and we're scared to get it because it's sticky and scary. How can we get it? I mean, just leave him there. But can you just not, is he, like, you can try to do a trap of some sort. I don't even know how you would do that. I would leave him alone if it were me. Dennis said, what brand of fixative would you recommend when spraying mixed media piece of colored pencil and graphite and charcoal? I wouldn't. Oh, no, that's not true. I guess my I wouldn't mix those three things. Like, that's a weird mixed media. I'm not sure what the benefit and the end result would be of mixing those three. Like, it wouldn't be my first choice because the graphite, like colored pencil is not going to stick well on either of those two things. And those two things are not going to stick well on colored pencil. So it's kind of a weird, I'm not, like even visually, I'm not sure what the benefit would be in mixing those. I've done the graphite and colored pencil, but even with those, I didn't personally spray those. But if I were going to, I'd probably go with Spectrafix. And the thing is, you need to test it on a separate, like do a test with those mediums on the same type of paper you're going to use, the same type of pencils, on a scratch piece and see what happens and make sure everything interacts well. But Spectrafix I have used on colored pencils and haven't had any ill reaction. But normally I don't put a fixative on colored pencil, but obviously charcoal needs that. So I would probably play around with it and see if Spectrafix would work for you. Where are we? Taylor said,
said, I try to go to as many reptile shows to get food for my reptiles, but it's dangerous. I always come home with a new critter. We've been pretty good with not doing that. Like, we've been, which is impressive for us because my husband and I both just love animals, but also you know, knowing my limit on, like, I pretty much hit my limit. I cannot take care of more. I mean, the spider was easy enough because just throw a cricket in there every few days or 4 days or so. But yeah, we've been pretty good. But yeah, he likes to get his feeder the pinkies for a snake at the reptile shows. But last year we really didn't have any, so he started ordering them online. I forget where he ordered them from. It would come in this huge box with all these because it has to stay frozen. That was kind of impressive the way that those were shipped in. But I do think, because I'm setting up this little spider enclosure, and I don't know how old the jumping spider I have is, and they don't live that long anyway. That's one thing. I may go to reptile shows, like when it's time for a new spider to live in that house. I will probably, that sounds so sad, but they just don't live that. They're like a year to 3 years max, and being that I don't know how old she already is, anyway, I will probably go and I want a black fluffy one. I'll go, the reptile stores have them. I mean, I can always go outside and catch one, but if you can find one. But yeah, that's the one thing I think I would come home with. One of the things that surprises me with a lot of these reptile shows, I thought you were getting more reputable breeders and such at them, and not necessarily. So it turns out a lot of these reptile shows have people who are like flippers, basically. They buy them on bulk, and then they go to these events and they sell them, and you're not actually dealing with like a smaller breeder like I thought you were at most of these shows. So you have to be aware of who you're buying your animals from at those. That was kind of a surprise to me. I didn't know that was a thing. And I read that on forums. Luckily I haven't experienced that myself, but I had originally thought like, oh, I'll go get my red-eyed tree frogs from that, and then I'll know they're captive bred and they're local. And nope, a lot of them are wild caught. They're just, and that's not, you're almost guaranteed to have parasites with a red-eyed tree frog anyway. 9 out of 10 of mine have had parasites. So yeah, that's fun. But, yeah, if they're wild caught, you're pretty much guaranteed. Then you're like 20 out of 10 chance. I'm bad at math. Let's see. Rhonda said, to prep a cheap canvas, would you airbrush gesso or would you use an airbrush? I wouldn't airbrush the gesso. If you're just prepping a cheap canvas, I really like either paint it on, or do I have one over here? I don't know if I have one over here. Hold on. Let me get one. I'll show you what I use. Here's one. I use this to varnish, and I use this to apply gesso. It's just easier. So these little spongy brushes you get like at the craft section of the art supply stores. So that is what I use to apply the gesso. I wouldn't you don't need the gesso to be that smooth. So I'm going to apply a layer of that, let it dry completely, another layer, let it dry completely, possibly another layer, depending on how much smoother I need the canvas. And then I'm going to, at the end of that, it's all dry, sand it with either anywhere between like a 220 to a 320-ish, 330. Hiccups. I don't know what that number is, but that range, any of those range of sandpaper, lightly go over it, and that's how I would prep one. Let's see. Shayna said, your husband is funny. I think it's more the quantity of kitchen roll. What? It's more the quantity of kitchen roll as well. Like you can only put about 2 to 3 sheets. Oh, yeah, the paper. I'm like, what were we talking about? You can only put like 2 to 3 sheets before blocking the toilet. No, none. No paper towels in the toilets. Do not do. Not a good idea. Oops, that just jumped. Where were we? Just a reminder, if you do have a question or comment, do the Lachri fine art. It'll highlight my name in orange so I see it. Otherwise, I just don't see the comment, and it sounds like I'm ignoring you, and then I look like a jerk, and I don't mean to. I just don't see it, so, you know. There's that. Nick says stares at area rug. Taylor, didn't you spill, what did Nick spill all over his floor? Was it airbrush paint? Taylor said, ordered a Grex airbrush and it's supposed to come today. Any tips or tricks that I should know about? Oh, yay. Okay. Yes. So Greg's airbrush. Let me give you a few airbrushing tips. One, don't do like I did. Actually clean yours after every use. Like I ideally pull it apart. You know what? Tip number one, watch my intro to airbrushing video. We're going to start there. But if you don't already have it, make sure this is like a must. This stuff, this airbrush flow improver by Vallejo, that is the most amazing thing. You put a couple drops of this in before your paint. It will keep most of that paint from drying on the tip. So it prevents a lot of clogging. Oh my gosh, lifesaver. My next tip is, you may think, okay, I'm painting this big background. I'm gonna fill this up like to here with paint because this is how much I need. No, you don't. You need like 4 drops. Like you don't put in a ton of paint as you're starting. Put in less and just keep adding more as you need it. But don't just fill this cup up all the way thinking you're gonna use a lot. A little bit goes a very long way. So, oh, it's almost empty. I need to order more. Next tip, Golden's my favorite airbrush paint. The type of airbrush paint you make will make a difference. So I used Createx for a lot of years, and it works, but I had to thin it with water because Createx should be a 0.5 or larger needle. I'm usually using a 0.3. So that's not, it's going to be more prone to clogging. So that's going to be a thing. Do I have anything else? Those are going to be my main tips for you. I'm trying to think if I've got anything else off the top of my head. Taylor said, would you ever get a tarantula? Yes, actually I do. That is one that I do want, but right now I'm thinking the jump. So mainly I wanted jumping spiders. Like they're just so dang cute, and they're easy, but they don't live long. And so I was like, oh, I'll get attached and it'll be too hard. And then I found this one in my hallway and I'm like, I think I'm ready. I think I can do this and not get too attached. The tarantulas will live longer, which is cool, but they also need a little bit more space. So my thing has been the enclosure that Glitch is in is not that big. It's, how tall is it? It's not big enough for a red-eyed tree frog, but she's in that because it's essentially a glorified hospital tank. So it's, I want to say it's like 11, 12 gallons right around there. The hospital tanks are usually 10. So Glitch is my red-eyed tree frog with a neurological disorder. And I figured if she ever got well enough that I could put her in a bigger enclosure, what would I do with this vivarium I made? It would actually work for certain tarantulas because it is a little bit higher humidity for the plants. But that would be I think that would be the only time I would go get one. My husband, I don't think he will on his own. But it's like I already keep the crickets, so I've got food for them. That's easy enough. So yeah, no, I really do like tarantulas, but I don't want to hold them. I just like to look at them. I like animals that I don't need to necessarily touch. So my red-eyed tree frogs, my fish, you're not really, you don't need it. You don't need quality time like you do with the birds or the dogs. So yeah, that's a possibility, but right now, no. Right now I'm pretty excited about the jumping spider thing. Paul said, and Axolotl, please, no, they take too much work. I can't, that is definitely beyond what I have time to properly take care of. I definitely think I'm at my limit on, you hit a point when you've got so many animals where you're like, I just don't have time to properly care for more. And when you start getting to the point where you're like, I don't have time to clean that cage today, and it should be clean. That's when you're like, no more, we're done. I mean, I do get everything clean, but it's like, it definitely... I have to be, as cute as they are, I have to be responsible and just know I am not in a place, so much of my time right now goes into my reef tank, my main one, not my coral quarantine one, because it's new and it's got, a newer tank, it's not super stable, and I'm having issues with gill flukes. So much for thinking I was safe buying pre-quarantine fish. It didn't work out as planned. So I'm dealing with that, and I thought that was going to make things easier on me going with the pre-quarantine fish. I mean, maybe it did. Maybe I would have been more likely to have more issues. Imagine how many more diseases I might have brought in if I hadn't. So I shouldn't. I'm kind of back and forth on, am I going to bother with quarantining or purchasing pre-quarantine fish, because of the experience I've had so far has not been. It's been moderately positive. I shouldn't say it's been all negative, but you get up to the point where you're like, the fish still have a parasite. What was the point of all of that? So, but then again, I could have ended up with 4 different parasites on top of that had I not gone through somebody who quarantined. So, I should be rational on that. But anyway, yeah, right now, today, I'm treating the tank with a thing to get rid of the gill flukes, Prezi Pro. I'm doing the max amount because I'm not getting rid of them. So I'm doing every 72 hours a about a quarter water change on the tank. So for me, that's about 15 gallons is my overall. I actually found this out this week because of how much I drained. It's about the tank holds, when you count the rock, it's an 83-gallon tank. It holds about 65 to 70 gallons of water. It's about a quarter of that. I am doing a water change every 3 days and then redose. It's so much time right now. And normally you do that once a week. It's no big deal. Right now, because my fish are sick, I'm having to go through, it is just so much work right now. I think I might be getting dinos involved. I don't know. A type of, a bad algae. I don't know if it's that or I don't know. There's just problems. And so it's like trying to do that and the thought of taking care of another, no. And then I've got the 3 quarantine tanks of the frogs, although next time Captain Cookie leaves me a sample, I'm going to go ahead and test it. And if it's showing negative for, I was going to have a vet do it, but honestly, the nematodes are the main thing I'm concerned with. If it's negative, he's going in with murky. That cuts me down to 2 quarantine tanks. So that's a little bit better. But yeah, no more. No axolotl. I can't say it right. I just, there's no way I can take care of another animal properly right now. Yeah, you always have that oh, I want this and I have room for that and I want this one too. And it's yeah, I can't, that's too much. I think too, you can get to a point where it's you don't even enjoy what you have because you're so busy trying to fix problems and taking care of stuff. It's I just I was realizing with how, and then normally my tank won't take this much of my time, but it's taken so much. I'm I'm not even enjoying my summer backyard. I love summer. I love sitting out on the patio when I have a few free moments, having coffee out there. I've got my crepe myrtles and it's so pretty. I planted that all last year. So this year it's super pretty. And I'm I don't even get to enjoy it because all of my time right now is maintenance on. I'm no more, just no more. Paul said, I'm excited with Halloween too. I sort of. I like fall. I love Halloween decorations. I'm just going to combine all the words today. What's the other one I combined earlier? But, fittable. It's fittable. God, but that means winter comes after. God, I hate winter. Gypsy Heart, I'm such a pansy when it comes to cold and ugly brown Texas winter. Gypsy Heart said, we have 2 cats and my 3 kids all want different animals and always ask why we don't have more. I'm we had you guys, we're good, right? It's funny, my neighbor will comment, he was looking at my tank. So you open it, you look at the sump and you see all this plumbing and the protein skimmer and all this stuff. And he's oh my God. And then he was helping me when I was doing my RODI system. And he's that looks really expensive. And I told him how much it was. He goes, yeah, it's expensive. I'm you have a baby. Nothing I'm doing is even close to how expensive your baby is. And he was saying how, it sounds like a lot of work. You have a baby. That is way more work than any of my frogs, any of my stuff. Kids are I don't know. Parents, my gosh, I have respect for the work you guys do. That is, none of my animal care compares even a little bit to a child, let alone multiples. Hire assistant to help with tank maintenance. I can't afford it. I always said I wanted somebody to come in and do housekeeping, cleaning. And I'm I just can't, 2 things. I can't afford it and I wouldn't trust somebody else. So with cleaning, if somebody uses the wrong chemical near the wrong animal, that's going to be a drama. But, sorry, itchy nose. I'm itching the outside of my nose, so it's not as tacky looking as you think. But, it just really itches. The tank maintenance stuff, it's kind of the same thing. Normal tank maintenance doesn't even bother me. Normal just water changes, 20 minutes once a week, no big deal. It takes me an hour to do all my water testing when I get into the chemistry of stuff. But that's not the problem right now. The problem are the parasites and all of that's not, there's no way. Somebody coming up every 72 hours to do a water change, I can't even imagine how much that would cost. And it wouldn't necessarily help my, that's not the main part of my issue, I guess. Gypsy Heart said, yep, between the husband and the kids, call myself the ringleader of the tiny human army circus I made myself. Never a dull moment. Yeah, Zara said, oh, true. Someone else in the house means you have to manage that too. Yeah, and it's like, it's just easier to do it myself and make sure, that's the other thing, make sure it's done right. So I'm going to be picky. I used to clean houses. That was one of the things I did as a side thing with like building up my art thing to make sure I still had money for bills. I cleaned houses. So, cleaning other people's toilets is no fun. But anyway, and that was before smartphones and like you couldn't like listen to a podcast while you worked. Like it wasn't even the thing. It was the most boring. Oh God, I hated doing that. But anyway, I'm going to be more picky on how I want stuff done. And if someone comes in and they're just half doing it, I'm going to be like, why am I paying you? Like, I don't think I would be a fun person to work for because I'm too like, if I'm paying you, you need to do the job and you need to do it correctly. Otherwise, well, you can call me Karen in that case, I just imagine. So I don't think I would be a fun person to work for. Like I expect what I'm paying for, but. Paul said bonsai. What about it? I don't know. I need more information. Let's see. Oh my gosh, this takes so long. I should just go through. Let's rush this, and I'm not even gonna worry about it being perfect. We're just gonna start getting some of that texture in there, and we'll just come through and clean it up because this is taking me forever. And we'll just come through and get some variation in between. Now, one thing when I do these, I do like to kind of get these rows. So we'll start building it more in rows instead of just random polka dots all over because it does form that sort of shape. So speaking of water changes on the tank, I'm so excited. I finally broke down. This is like my big purchase for the month. Like I had my like special, you get to buy a treat for yourself type thing. This was mine. I bought myself a new Ciche water pump that will okay, water changes. How water changes work on the tank. Well, how I'm currently doing them. I have those big 32-gallon Brute tanks or Brute trash cans. It's on wheels. I make my ROD guy water in the laundry room and then I mix the salt in it and then I roll that into the fish tank room and then I have to like remove water from the tank and then put new water into the tank. I got some tools like that will drain it. It'll pump it out of it's made like you stick it in the trash can and it pumps into the tank and you just hang the little thing. I got the little hanger on it. Water changes just got so much easier for me today. The rest of the stuff I needed for it came today. I'm so excited. I have to do a water change tonight. So I am stupidly excited about hoses right now. Like the stuff that, yeah, water changes are going to be a lot easier. Yay. Paula said, right, we survived those days of us just doing our chores without background noise. Well, I know, and it's not pleasant. Like now, I always have books going, audiobooks, or a podcast, or something is always like, and it makes time go by much faster. But man, back then you didn't, like we didn't even have, so back when I was cleaning houses, you didn't have like iPods or anything. Like that wasn't a thing. There were no smartphones, there were no iPods. So I had if you wanted to listen to music, it was a CD player that was like this big. That was your like Walkman. And you couldn't attach that to you like that wasn't practical. So you just didn't listen to anything and it sucked. Let's see. Cat's Art Pig said, when winter is on the ground, does it make the arthritis in your hands worse? I don't really notice a difference. If it does, it's so minor. I've not noticed that as being a difference. The thing that I've noticed as being the bigger difference when it comes to arthritis is what I've eaten. My eating habits, that affects it more than anything. Like even I'll go walking in the cold. Like I mean, I complain about it because I hate the cold, but I don't really notice it affecting anything negatively as far as arthritis and such go. I know that a lot of people, it does, but I've not seen that. Like now, I eat potatoes. Dear God, it's pretty fast. Like overnight, I will wake up the next morning and my knees will be killing me. Everything will, which sucks because potatoes are my favorite food. Let's see. Hi, Lisa. How can a wobbly canvas be fixed? I lay it flat and it wobbles. I heard water on canvas, but not sure. Can't take it back. Stuck with it. Thanks for the lovely videos. So the reason your canvas is wobbly, it's a bad frame. It's the wood stretcher bars that's your problem. You've got a couple of options. So depending on how severe it is, you're going to put your canvas, let me grab it to show you what it would be like. So when you frame a canvas, you're going to put it in an open frame like this. So it's just, there's no glass. It's just like there's the actual painting and it's attached to, this is really half done in the back. This is not pro techniques on how I've got this attached, but it's mine, so I don't care if it looks bad in the back. But anyway, it's the open frame, no glass. And when you have a, it's all dusty. Speaking of who did not do their house cleaning properly, apparently I've not been doing the studio good enough on pictures. You know what I'll be focusing on tomorrow? Anyway, you can, depending on how warped that canvas is or how warped the stretcher bars are, when you nail it or staple it or whatever tools you use to force it into your open frame from the back, you can kind of mold it and so it, or push it down, and that'll keep it from being all wobbly and wiggly. The problem is, depending on how warped those stretcher bars are, that might be when you straighten it out, now the fabric itself has a wave in it. In that case, the only thing you can do, you can buy new stretcher bars. Frederick sells just the stretcher bars. There's a few places you can get just the wood stretcher bars. You remove all the staples and you re-stretch the canvas over new proper stretcher bars. And those stretcher bars, that was a huge reason I stopped using, sorry, itchy nose again. That's a huge reason I stopped using other brands and why I only use Frederick. So yes, I am, just for transparency, I'm sponsored by Frederick's. I already swore off all canvases but Frederick's because I had so many problems and I was wasting money, and I'm like, I don't have time, I can't go return this right now, I need this canvas to work right now, I got it home, didn't realize. So when I buy canvas, if you are going to get crap canvases, you should check this anyway, just in case. Set the canvas on the ground, flat at the store you're on, and see if it wobbles. If it wobbles, no, you're not fixing that. Like, it's not, that's an absolute no. But if you, depending on how bad the wobble is, you might be able to fix it. And I've sold paintings that the only way I could sell it was because of those bad stretcher bars. I had to pay for a frame, buy a frame, and send it that way, because otherwise it was just a little bit too warped. It didn't mess up the fabric, like the fabric wasn't getting a wave, so it was doable in the frame, but it depends on how severe that is. So let me put this back before I mess it up. Let's see. Where were we? Sarah said, do you get to a point in your pieces where you know you're not done, but the reference photo isn't helping anymore? Oh, all the time. But I also get to that point anyway where I just put the reference photo away and I'm stepping away from it, looking at it across the room, taking a photo on my cell phone, and deciding what would make my piece better. Like, I don't need it to always be based, like, it's based on the reference photo, but it's not exact too. So you have to get to a point where it's just what will make my piece look better, and I'm not super worried about it being exact to the reference photo, because the reference photo, like you said, you do hit a point, I think, where it's not super useful. So absolutely. Shayna said, do you use metallic or shimmer colors in your artwork, and do you like them? I like them. Here's the thing. So I don't know if you can see the round painting right there. That's an owl that we did. I think we did that during the live streams. I don't know. He has a gold marker, and I use that gold marker because he's for me, and I used the same gold marker on my walls when I did the mural in here. But he does have that shimmery gold. Actually, no, I didn't use the marker on him. I just used the gold Liquitex paint. I don't know how that's going to handle as far as light fast. Like, it doesn't have a light fast rating on those. Does that mean it's not, like, is it going to fade in 2 years? Is it going to fade in 5? I've not done enough research to know how those metallics really work. I think gold foil that a lot of people use is fine, but I don't know on those paints how long that works. I don't use it often enough that I can say from my own experience what I've had happen. Maybe I should paint some on a canvas and just stick it in the window and see what happens. I need to do that. But I like the look, but I don't do it often, and I don't know how archival that is. It's just not, it's not something I like enough to bother researching, I guess is a good way to put it. Paul said, I just found out that I have a tendency of having arthritis. The signs are showing up, and it makes me sad. Oh, well, we have it's like a club. Most of us do. I apologize because it sucks, but diet makes a difference. I can say that for sure. It's no fun though. Gypsy Heart said, yep, we didn't have anything. We just got good at those hypothetical arguments in our heads. Oh my gosh, are you not wrong there? Oh my God, are you not wrong? Are you not right? Whatever, you're correct. I'm not getting that right. Oh, the things you wish you had said, the good quips you didn't think of till after the fact. Oh my gosh, that is so funny you say that, because that is so true. Do you guys do that too? You'll laying in bed at night, falling asleep, and it'll hit like, oh, I should have responded like this, or oh, Or when you'll randomly think of something that embarrasses you, like this was when I was probably, I don't know, I'd say I was 15 years old, right around there. So this boy that I liked in so yeah, it would have been high school. He offered me gum. It was like, I don't know why we were at something after school, or I don't know how we ended up in the same place together. But he handed me the pack of gum and said, here, do you want? Or did you want this? Or whatever. I don't know why my brain skipped and went, oh, okay. And I took the whole pack. Like, I'll take the gum. Like, you don't want it anymore? Okay. And I took it all. I'm to this day embarrassed because it was one of those things you got home and go, oh, he meant to give me a piece. I'm an idiot. I don't know why my brain thought he was just like, here, do you want all of this gum? Yeah. And to this day, so that was 30 years ago or whatever. To this day, I will think of that and feel so embarrassed, like I'm an idiot. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. I don't even remember the boy's name. I just remember there was a boy I liked, and yeah. But that's one of my favorite things, to be laying in bed and randomly think of something that you did that you're embarrassed about, and you just can't stop being embarrassed about it. What's wrong with listening to the radio? Well, when you're cleaning somebody else's house, you can't just like have music blasting, especially if they're home at the time. So that wasn't. Sometimes it would work. Like there was one house I used to clean. I knew him because he had a reef tank too. That's back when I get my first reef tank, and he would have music playing, but it would be like, I was never really into what was it called? Fleetwood. No, I like Fleetwood Mac. Dark Side of the Moon. That's a thing. Oh crap! What is the band? Somebody correct me because I can't think of it right now. But I was never really in. It was a little bit weird for me, and he would listen to stuff like that all the time. Stuff that made me think of my friends that were high a lot. Like he listened to that kind, and it wasn't or at least that's how I associated it. I can't even think of the band name. Oh, it's gonna drive me crazy. But anyway, he would listen to that, and it was like, oh, it would be better if there was no music at all because I really hate this. See. Yeah, that too, or the fact that they only played the same song in 10 various orders, yeah. Just scrolling, there we go. Oh, that jumped. Gypsy Heart said, yes, and it's called anxiety, and it's I'm half asleep all day, now it's time for bed, now it's time to lay here thinking of an argument and social exchange since childhood, yeah. Why do we do that to ourselves? Like, it's so... There's no reason for it, but we still torture ourselves with this crap. Pink Floyd, thank you. Yeah. And you're wrong. Yeah, I've never just been a fan. I don't know. I think it was an association thing. I associated it with people I knew who were very not sober. But yeah, I was never a fan. Blasphemy. Sorry. And especially at that time, I think you have to keep in mind too the style of music. I mean, at the time, I mostly listened to punk. Punk, ska, like that was the type I liked. And then Pink Floyd was not that. Yeah, a lot of the stuff from that time period I was just not a fan of. There are very few things like the typical, I like the Eagles, I like Fleetwood Mac. There are not a lot of bands from that time period that I enjoy. There's more that I can't think of, but yeah. So just building up that texture. Some of this is small, so it just kind of little squiggles, and we'll have to fade into purple as we move down. Oh my gosh, this octopus is going to take me forever. I should have planned that I mean, I knew this piece was going to take a long time, but I definitely should have planned out the fact that I'm including stuff that is just so detailed and takes forever. Like if I were to do this for like the paint, well, this is on paint, I use normal colored pencils. I think it was my Derwent Lightfast review. But I did the same octopus on hot press watercolor paper, and I have to even on Patreon speed some of it up because it's like so repetitive. It just takes forever. Let's see. Lori said, I can't tell you how many embarrassing things have happened to me. I've got some doozies. I think we all do. And it's funny because the other people probably don't like that we're involved, that we embarrassed ourselves in front of, probably don't think that much of it. And it's funny too. So I don't have, like, I can't think of anything as an adult that I'm really embarrassed about. It was when I was a kid, when you're in that like super vulnerable stage, emotionally or mentally, like teenagers, how that seems to be the ones I go back to. Like as an adult, when I've done stupid stuff, I'm like, oh, whatever, I'm an idiot, I'll make fun of myself before someone else does. But at the time, I was so self-conscious about everything, and it's funny to have that impact me now, because I can't think of anything as an adult that I'm super embarrassed about. Like I don't really care, but I'll keep focusing on those things from my childhood that yeah. Moody Roan said, you're not alone. Not a fan of Pink Floyd either. So we need a team Pink Floyd and team we have better taste in music. I think that's what we're going to call it. There's where the rest of my thumbs downs come from. Shayna said, the exact same thing happened to me. I offered this boy some of my school dinners, and he said, you don't want it, and took my whole meal. Well, still thinking about it 16 years later. I wonder if that kid still remembers the dumb blonde girl taking all this, like, way to fit a stereotype, Lisa, taking his whole pack of gum. Like, and that's the funny thing, guys, I don't even know what his name, like, I can't think of his name at all, but I remember that. I was trying to think of anything as an adult that I was super embarrassed by, and I can't, like, I do dumb crap, but I don't feel this, I don't have the same, like, childhood, like, super self-conscious, oh my god, I can't believe I did that. Now I'm like, I do dumb crap all the time, I don't care now. Okay, we need to move into some darker colors here. Lori said, love Pink Floyd, but I'm a 70s girl. I grew up more, I mean, I was born in 77, but I grew up more in the 80s, so that's kind of my, like, it's a little after. So maybe that's part of it, too. I associate a lot of the stuff from the 70s with, like, parents, and your parents' music isn't cool when you're a kid, so maybe that's part, I don't know. Paul said, now we can just pick whatever background noise we want, like, oh, my time's sticking out. Like, I memorized some of friends' dialogues back when I was cleaning my dorm room. Dee said, and I thought it was just me who didn't like Pink Floyd. You can join our pro good taste in music team. How many people are gritting their teeth every time I say that? But to be fair, Pink Floyd is just bad. I crack me up. I don't think people realize how funny I am. Let's see, yeah. Oh, so much little texture. I think I'm going to just go through this really quick with this color. What is this one? Yeah, I can never say that pink color. But go through that quickly and then do the shading on top of it. So at least it's more mapped out. Bigger chunks back here. As always, I've got glassine under my hand so I don't get the oils of my hand on this, and then I don't smudge things. So double bonus there. Gypsy Heart said, we have finally accepted our fate and embraced it now. Nothing bugs me now, even brain fog words. Hubs always goes, come on, girl, you can think of the word, you can do it. Yeah, Matt makes fun of me for a lot of that. What did I do yesterday? He was cracking me up. He basically, I can't even remember what it was now. But I said or did something, and then later on I said something else, and he said that I've already discredited myself because of the previous thing. Like, I get no say in anything anymore. I don't even remember what it was, but he gets a kick out of my stupidity, like the stuff I come up with now. I think I was actually picking on him. I made fun of him for something, and he's like, you don't get to talk because, I don't even remember what it was, but it was pretty funny. We were in the car, I remember that. So right now, because I'm using all the same color for this is very flat. I'll have to come through and do more of the shading. It actually stands out more on my end than what you guys are seeing. So once we do the shading, that will make a huge difference. actually blend out. We've got a lot of shading or shadows that'll go through here. You really won't see a whole lot of this section. Okay. Julie said, I love Pink Floyd, although very open-minded with music. I don't care who sings it. If I like it, I like it. I'm the same. Led Zeppelin, no, not a fan. But again, I think that a lot of it comes down to, oh, that was my parents' music, that can't be cool type. That might have been part of it. Let's see. Stop chewing, Wade. I can see you in the camera. I know you're doing it. You're not very sneaky. Julie said, I love Pink. Oh, wait, I got that one. Gypsy Heart said, as long as I stay ahead of the whole, is it chicken or is it fish thing from years ago? I forget her name that said that, but as long as I stay ahead of that, I feel confident. Huh? You're over my head. I don't know what that was in reference to. Rhonda said, my latest is last week I set up a YouTube for a live stream, went to bed for a nap. My alarm didn't wake me up. Husband gets woken up by my cat howling, looking for the talking person. Oh my gosh. Anne said, actually, speaking of that, Joseph scared the crap out of me. Was it not this last week, the week before? So I'll put on podcast or whatever, or live streams and stuff while I'm getting ready, doing my hair and makeup and all that. And so I put on his, and it was while I was doing my makeup and stuff, and I put the phone down. Well, Joseph doesn't talk. We've got to get him telling us more stories. So he doesn't talk as much in his live streams, which actually, maybe that's a good thing because people tell me to talk less. So he doesn't talk as much, and I forgot it was going. And so I went into the other room, and I was getting dressed, and I hear a man's voice go, hi, Lisa. Scared the crap out of me. Why is a man in my, I'm getting dressed. Who is this man's voice? It took me a second to realize what it was, because I think I logged in, I'm here, and then left, and it takes him a minute, because of the delay, before he sees the comment. Oh my gosh, Joseph, I about had to change my pants again, because, oh my God. But then, oh yeah, that one scared the crap out of me. Totally forgot that was going. Let's see. Anne said, I sometimes think of embarrassing situations that have never happened to me, and there's very little chance of them ever happening. I don't know why I'm even thinking about them. I've done that too. The what ifs. Gypsy Heart said, some celebrity was talking about tuna and asked, is it chicken or is it fish? Because it's called the chicken of the sea, but oh God. Wow. Cat's Art Pick said, what's your favorite band or music? My favorite would definitely be Amberlin. Best band ever. I'm also currently obsessed with Imminence. You can watch them on YouTube. Oh my God, that guy is amazing. Or the whole band is. But Amberlin is like my best of the best band, favorite. I can listen to them anytime and be happy. I listen to a lot of folk type music too. I mean, I listen to a lot of different types of music, but those are if I had to pick one favorite all-time band, it would definitely be Amberlin. And luckily they've got a million, they've got so much music. So yeah, Amberlin is my favorite. But there are a lot of different music that I listen to. I know I'm over here going, no, I don't like that, but I actually like a lot of stuff. My neighbor came over and we were listening to Frank Sinatra, which was kind of cool. I'm I've never thought to listen to this. Is nice. It was just a nice vibe in the room. So that was fun. But yeah, that would be my favorite. I still like emo music a lot. I like screamo. I don't listen to punk so much now, but I used to. No, okay, yeah, no. I am not a fan of Seinfeld. Here's where the rest of the hands down or thumbs down come. My husband loves that show and thinks I'm the one who's wrong. It's a constant. That's one of the things he says I can't be. My opinion doesn't matter on because I don't like it. No, not my thing. No, I never liked any of the characters. Never the humor is just not I didn't enjoy it. My husband does. Lori said, oh no, as an adult, at a formal charity ball, long gown, backed up into a displayed frame photo of the governor and somebody crashed, glass everywhere, entire ballroom stopped. Oh my gosh. Joseph was laughing because I could see that happening. Yeah, he seriously scared the crap out of me. I just forgot that the live stream was on because it was so quiet. And the other thing I'll do with Joseph's live streams, I'll turn it all the way up I can't hear anything. I've got my volume and I forget, and then he's yelling when he just says hi. Yeah, I'm bad about that. Lori says I blame the photographer. Oh my gosh. Joseph said I've actually done that to myself, watching my own stream back. Paul said, random, but you should listen to Taylor Swift's Folklore album. I know her, but the album is good. I have no respect for her. No. Leisha said, I recently discovered Apocalyptica. My husband, I think, was listening to them. They play heavy metal with cellos and drummer. I don't like metal. Like, my husband will listen to that stuff. I'm not a fan of electric guitars that are like the little, the solo thing, the little, like, I'm pretending I'm a violin and I'm not, and I hate it. So any music that has a lot of the high, like the crazy guitar solos, I don't really enjoy that. My husband will listen to it, but I'm not a fan. Eos said, I never liked Seinfeld or Friends. I semi-liked Friends for a while in the beginning, and then as it went on, like Monica, the girl who plays her, God, she is such a horrible actress. She can't deliver a line without being on the verge of already laughing. She's always got that smirk, and I'm like, you are bad at your job. But I don't know, as Friends went on, I just kind of lost interest. But in the beginning, I loved it. But I didn't really, it went on for so long. I know they're like, it's funny because they're super popular now with kids and teens and stuff. And I'm like, wow, that was actually like, I grew up with, that was in high school and that was on for me. Rhonda said, how do you keep track of what pencils you have used in an art piece? It doesn't matter, honestly. We have a tendency to give too much importance into the color being exact, getting the perfect color. The color's not a big deal. I know that I'm using mostly orange. I mean, this is how many colors I have out right now, if you can see. If I use a different orange, does it matter? Probably not. It's not that big of a deal. I know when I first started with painting and drawing, I was so worried about, can I mix the perfect color? And I need to mix that exact color again. No, you don't. Like it's not that big of a deal. So I can do one of two things. One, if it's an ongoing piece, I just leave those pencils out. Well, if it's an ongoing piece that like I'm going to finish it start to finish in like a week or two, I leave those pencils in a cup separate so I can just grab them. It just makes it easier. But in this case, in order for me to clean up this mess and get to my other, like everything has to be put away right now in between mediums because I'm doing a bunch of projects at once. So I just pull out all of the oranges and pinks and stuff that I think will work okay. And if it's the same, great. If it's not, no one's going to know the difference. Values are what matters more. Moody Roan said, glad I don't have a YouTube channel because I get tons of thumb downs from me saying I never got the hype about Metallica, same as Pete Floyd. I liked some of the Metallica stuff, but it's that same thing, like the heavier stuff I was never a fan of. My mom was. I know my husband was when he was young. But some Metallica songs, like the slow ones, I always really liked, but like the stuff that would be on the radio. But then, and I bought the CDs thinking, oh, it'd be more of that. It was not more of that. It was too much for me. Like, I totally respect how talented they are. And I would say that with most bands. Like, I can respect the skill level and the talent and that they're good, but I just don't enjoy listening to it. Paul said, how about 9 Inch Nails or Goo Goo Dolls? My husband was a bigger fan of Goo Goo Dolls than I was. I like them, but it's not like I'm not going to listen to it over and over again. 9 Inch Nails I did really like. Like, I always really like them. I think that's one my husband likes even more than me, too. Yeah. Did like. I like Tool, Perfect Circle, like that stuff. A lot of the stuff from the 90s, the alternative stuff, Pearl Jam. I listen to them constantly. Actually, if you guys haven't heard Eddie Vedder's new stuff, it's just as good as his old. Like, he's so good. I love, which is not, like, normally when a singer, like, goes solo from the original band, I don't usually like it as much. Oh, he's amazing. That guy is phenomenal. Yeah, the whole grunge period, I definitely liked that. I even, growing up in the 90s, had all the, actually I still wear them now because it's comfortable to me, but all the big flannels, the oversized flannels you wore all the time. Yeah. Gypsy Heart said, I'm stuck in 90s music. New music is terrible. I love making my kids listen to my playlist. Yeah, I'm definitely, I like a lot of 90s stuff. But there's still good stuff, like Imminence. They have a new song coming out. They're so good if you've not listened to them. Like, oh my gosh, so good. I am Eminence. I don't know how to spell it. Imminence. Check them out. like, what was the other one? It's a plot in you, a plot in me, a plot in somebody had a plot somewhere. I like most of his stuff. Some of it gets a little bit too poppy, like Taylor Swift's side, which I don't like that style of music. But most of his stuff, oh man, his stuff is a little bit darker. I think I'm pretty sure that guy has a drug thing going on, and I think that a lot of his music seems to be based around that, or past issues, I'm not sure. So it's, some of that would definitely, a lot of swearing, so I wouldn't listen to it around kids. But, oh, it's good. His voice and the band as a whole, most of their stuff, I really like that band a lot. Oasis, oh my gosh, I love Oasis so much. That's always been one of my favorite bands. Yeah, definitely a fan of Oasis. Nick said, I actually met and spoke with Eddie Vedder backstage at a concert. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. Alanis Morissette. So my old keyboard player for my old band, he was obsessed with Alanis Morissette. Like, she was his god, essentially. It was actually kind of funny. But yeah, he's super obsessed. What are you doing up? Go lay down. You know the rules. Gibson, lay down. He's ignoring me. Gibson, lay down. I will use firm mom voice. No reason for you to be up. Let's see. Gibson, down. Good boy. Hi, Clark Fine Art. So I'm just going in between those little spotty guys where I did, and I still have to come through and do shading. Some of this will be more highlighting lines in between, but we're starting to get texture, just going through. It is not even, I wouldn't even say it's that close to the reference photo. It's certainly not exact. You don't need to be that picky on getting like, I'm not going to spend the time to make every little line, every single thing exact. Close is close enough in this case. And this is really nothing I'm going to blend out. So again, Caran d'Ache Luminance worked just fine on that. If I needed to blend it, I would want to use my polychromos. It is hot in here. What is my air conditioner set to? Where is my phone? Oh, I missed that time I used to have a phone. There it is. I would use the Amazon device, but I don't want to change everyone else's temperature too. So let's just see, because this room is toasty. It's set right. Well, I'm dropping it because you're not even connected. There you go. Yeah, it was time for it to kick on. It was already high. Tina Arena Burn. I don't know what that is. That I do not know. There goes the air conditioner. That'll make it more comfortable in here. It hasn't kicked on. Like, I haven't noticed it this whole live stream. EDM. Oh my gosh, I remember them. I used to really like them. No, not EDM. I know what that one is. EMF. Do you guys remember them? I always associate EMF and Jesus Jones, like that same time period. I used to love that stuff. Cat's Art Pick said, when you get a chance, can we see your seed drawing? Yes. I'm going to actually grab him really quick right now. Before I forget, thank you for reminding me. Let's see if I can get him on screen without messing anything up. Okay, so mine is way more of a greenish teal than what you're seeing, but it looks way better in person. This looks really more rough than mine looks, but I was just playing with the different textures. Like, I took a spray bottle and I let it leave me some globs. I was just playing around and experimenting. So I used a Q-tip to get some circles, and I'll end up turning these into bubbles. But my goal, I really wanted to have a lighter area around him, like, so he has this it's almost a glow that I avoid, the halo effect. That's what the word I'm looking for, or words. There are more than one word in halo effect. But I wanted that halo effect on him a little bit more in through here and then the darks. Like, I was really just experimenting. Is this the most advanced techniques of watercolor? You'll probably never see that from me. But I was having a lot of fun playing with lifting color, making it darker, layering. I'm excited. I think I'm going to like this. I'll probably end up framing this one and putting it on my own wall. So let me go put him back so he doesn't get messed up. But he's definitely more of a dark, like greenish type teal, like than what you guys are seeing. Tonight I start painting all his leaves. Shayna said, how do you blend Inktense blocks? I can always see the strokes when I'm painting. How do I get rid of them? Keep it wet. So that area, let's say I was doing this eye. I would get it wet and then paint water actually, then paint the color over it, and that area will stay wet while you blend it out. So you have to keep the area wet. As soon as one of those brush strokes starts to dry, you're always going to see it. So that's one of the biggest differences with your Inktense and watercolor. With watercolor, there are a bunch of those areas where I had this super like harsh outer edge line thing from how I was blending. You just blend right over it and it blends out. Now, on the flip side, that also means you're lifting paint back off or pigment back off the paper. So you got to be careful with that. With Inktense, it's not coming back up. Like very little is moving. It's permanent. It's meant to be permanent. So you want to keep that area wet. And in that case, let's say this whole eye, and I'm trying to blend it and get it perfect and have it, well, blended. I'm going to get it wet first so that that area stays wet and then paint on top of that. This, like his body, I would get it wet and then put the paint on top. But when you put the paint onto the dry paper, it's more likely to soak in and dry and stay that way. So that would be, that would be my tip there. Where did we just jump to? The chat jumped. They said, hey Lisa, it's been a while. Are your other two dogs still living? No, we lost them last year. I say lost. I didn't lose them. We had to make the hard choice to let them go, I guess. That was not this last June. It's been a year this June. So that was one of the suckiest days of my life. For sure, we let them go together. Echo had cancer, and so we knew she actually lived a lot longer than we expected. But she had cancer, and it was a type that was very aggressive. I don't know if it was her diet or what, but we slowed it down by quite a bit, and she lived, after her initial diagnosis, about a year and a half longer, which was unexpected. Like we expected a couple months. We got a lot more, and she woke up one morning, and in Jessie, we knew they were my Italian Greyhounds, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about. Jessie was almost 16, 15, 16, I don't know. She was old. She had an autoimmune disorder, and she'd been on prednisone for a very long time, and she was just wasting away. She was blind. She was deaf. Her quality of life was non-existent. Her arthritis was getting really bad, so you'd watch her walk, and you're just kind of like, oh, that looks sore. And, we had her on the stuff for that, and then she had all her medications, but it was getting to the point where the medications were, they can only do so much for so long, and we were pretty much keeping her alive. Echo was super attached to her. So Jessie didn't really care about Echo. Echo loved Jessie. Like that was her. You cannot separate Echo from Jessie. And so when Echo, like Jessie, we knew we were hitting that point where like, I think we're keeping her alive. We're just being selfish at that point. We're keeping her there for us, not for her. Her quality of life was just, it wasn't good anymore. And Echo, when she woke up one morning in June, the end of June of last year, she was vomiting really bad, and she got to the point she couldn't stand up. She was having like these seizure type, it wasn't really a seizure, it was these weird spasms. I wouldn't call it a full-on seizure, but it was bad, and she went down, within hours of the first symptoms, and we're like, okay, the cancer definitely hit a point. Like, I'm not going to keep trying to drag out, like, it's not fair to keep trying to keep her alive for me. They were old. We knew this was coming, and she had a good year and a half. Where the medication, the prednisone, was actually what was keeping most of those cancer symptoms under control. So yeah, that's what, I can actually talk about it without crying now. But last year sucked. God, that sucked. When you have them with you for so long. So, 311, yes, 311 was one of my favorite bands. 311, actually, painting their logo was one of the best practices I had. I was obsessed with 311 for a very long time, and so were like the whole group of my friends were, and so I kept painting their logo for all of us with different colors and stuff, and I would give them away. I would use the back, like, how the back of paper has the cardboard type, is this one of them? Oh, you don't, yeah. Well, this isn't the best example, but normally paper has that cardboard thing on the back of your pads of paper. I would paint that because I couldn't afford canvases. So I would paint those for my friends as gifts, as a way to like, it was a really good practice. But yeah, me and that 311 logo were very well acquainted. Let's see. Seahorse background looks great. What colors are you going to do the seahorse? So he is going to be in the like yellow, goldy, tan colors with some purples, and of course pull some of the aqua to make that work in this. So yeah. Jesus Jones, OMG, that's something I didn't realize till I remembered. According to Google, they're still going. Are you serious? Wow. Moody Roan said, salt gives a really cool effect with watercolor too, and the best part of watercolor, in my opinion, is wetting the paper, dropping wet paint, and watching it flow. I'm going to have to play with that too. And one of the things that would have made my life easier in this piece is if I had used my masking fluid to mask out the sea dragon and then gone over it so I could make a whole mess with the background without trying to paint around the details. But in this case, I'm like, he was so detailed, that was going to be a pain. So I'm going to play with that on something that's a little bit more simple. The masking fluid is going to take me a year to fill in all the little spaces. But that would have, I think, opened up a few more doors on different effects I would have played with the blending on that. But in this case, I was trying to paint around all his little fins and everything. It was a lot of work. Yeah, 311 is one of the bands. I've seen them 3 or 4 times. Like we used to drive. I know we went to San Diego once. I drove out to some other faraway location another time. I'm trying to think. So I think 3 times I've seen them back when they were like really popular. So filling in these little shapes. We're almost done for today. So I'm just going in between the little shapes I already had there. I'm not really inventing new ones or anything, but I will make some of these darker after all that's loosely blocked in. If you've not seen, so this is Captain Cookie. He's my albino red-eyed tree frog. I posted some photos of him over a day or 2 ago on MeWe. It is probably the cutest photo I've ever seen. He was sitting at the edge of his, he's still in the quarantine tank, and he's sitting right up, like right in the edge, staring, like so, perfect sideways view, staring at Purple Frog, just watching him. For some reason, he's now obsessed with Purple Frog. Maybe he's also wondering why Purple Frog retains water and gets all blotchy colors. But he's sitting there just staring, and so he held his position. I put my phone like on the other camera angle, so I had from the front and from the side. Dear God, it was seriously cutest thing ever. Videoron said, hey, masking too. I think Molotov Graphics makes a masking fluid pen. Never tried them, but heard they're nice. Interesting. Gypsy Heart said, did you ever like Cold Chamber? I don't know who that is. Yes, Captain Cookie is the albino. He's so freaking cute. And he's just about ready. I just have a hard time getting a sample on a day I can drop it off at the vet. I still sampled for a fecal test. I can test for nematodes, but like flagellates and some other things that I'm probably pronouncing wrong, some other parasites, I can't tell, like bacterial stuff. But I've had him now for 3 months, I believe. I got him, May, June, July. Yeah, I've had him for at least 3 months. He's the only frog I've had that never had nematodes. But I think if he comes up clear this next time, I'm going to go ahead and let him go. Actually, I need to test Murky too, because her parasites could have come back. So I'm going to test them both. And once that is clear for nematodes, I'm going to go ahead and move him into the bigger vivarium, which he is the most active frog. I can't get over how he's always moving all over the place. So it's kind of weird. He was sitting still long enough to get photos that night. But I think he's ready to go ahead, and I'm not going to worry about getting the vet's fecal test on him, because, I mean, at this point, if he had nematodes that were just juveniles and weren't showing up, they would show up now, because the eggs I can't really identify. I'm not good at that part. I need to do a float. I'm doing a fecal smear, TMI, but the way that I test with a microscope. So I think if that comes back negative on the next one, just from the smear and for adults, I'm going to go ahead and say we're good enough and move him all on in. YouTube. Yeah, I used to like YouTube, but my friends were more obsessed. Like, I like them. They're amazing, but it's also not like my favorite. Like, it doesn't make me unhappy when they're playing, but it's not something that I would go out of my way to put on. Clark Feiner said, a Moody Run, let's see, I have the Molotov masking pen, and it's great. I had no issues with it coming off my paper cleanly. Okay, let's just go ahead and write that down as something I need to order. AW? OW? What did it? OW. need that in my life. Okay. My back is angry at me today from sitting here for so long. I don't know why I'm sharing that with you guys, but now you know. I am not pushing hard with this pencil, by the way. Really light hand. Like, it just sticks so well to sanded paper. That's definitely one of many things that are really cool with working on sanded paper. You're not limited by your layers. It just shows up. In like light colors, dark colors, doesn't matter. Everything shows up on something else. Like, it's so... It definitely is an easier way in many ways to work in colored pencil. When I first heard about using sanded paper for colored pencil, I didn't think I'd like it at all because I always like super smooth paper. Stuff is amazing. I mean, it's not something where I would say it's better than my normal hot press watercolor paper. It's just different. And there are a lot of aspects I love about it. Gypsy Heart said, Cold Chamber was a band in the 90s, rock metal, grungy kind of. I bet if I heard it, I'd remember it. I just don't remember, like, I would say I never bought the CD because I don't remember the name. One of my favorite CDs was the soundtrack for The Crow, the original Crow. Oh my gosh, I loved that. The last song on that, and her voice was actually kind of terrible and cracky, but it was good. Like, oh man, that was such the Cure song, the first song on that. Oh my God, I can listen to that nonstop. Although was it that song? No, there was another Cure song, Chipotle. Any of you guys go to Chipotle? One of their like piped in music. It's a folk style, and I like folk, not this one, style cover of The Cure. This song should have never been covered, and the band that did it, it is painful. Like, oh, please make it stop. But no, The Cure I really like too. Natalie said, yes, love the Crow soundtrack. That was my favorite movie for so long. I mean, I still like it, but my husband, when it was like digitally remastered, it's on Blu-ray now. I'm like, I don't want to see it more clearly. It should be kept in the dark because it's when you no. I know some of these movies that we remastered, it's on Blu-ray, and now you can see even more. That doesn't make it look better though. Like, it looks better all grungy and dark. Let's see, Can't Rain All the Time. Yep, that one. Love that song. And for whatever reason, I associate that song or even that soundtrack with CK1 perfume / cologne. Like, those things go hand in hand to me. Speaking of 90s. I still have that same bottle. My sister got me like this huge bottle of it. She somehow managed, at this point, I had moved out from my bio dad, the schizophrenic one that was abusive. I moved out. My sister was still living. He liked my sister, so she didn't have the problems I did. I mean, he wasn't a good, but he wasn't like, he didn't abuse her like he did to me. So anyway, she somehow got him, I don't know how she managed this because he hated me, to give her money that she then spent like $100 on the biggest bottle of CK1 she could find and bought that for me with his money. I don't know. To this day, I'm like, did she steal? No, we didn't really have credit cards, so I don't know where she got the money from. I know it was from him, but she got me, and I still have that bottle of CK1 because that will last you the rest of your life. But yeah, it pretty much ends up being like, if I ever need a bathroom spray, it's CK1. Gypsy Heart said, ah, yes, The Crow, the beginnings of a love affair with masked characters. Oh, I kind of want to watch that again. I need to get, my husband has a TV that he doesn't use in his bedroom. He told me he'd set it up. I think, did I get the wall mount? I think I have a wall mount. He told me he'd set it up in here because I don't have anything to watch. Like, I like to have Harry Potter playing in the background, or like that would be a fun one to have playing in the background. I need to get move that TV into this room because he's not using it. I was gonna, back before I had the reef tank and actually sometimes had expendable money, but I was gonna buy a TV in here, and he's like, no, just take that one because I don't use it, and we just never moved it in. I would like to see that. Am I a fan of Chanel number 5 perfume? I actually don't like perfume very much in general. Like, I wear scented lotions, like the, what is this? Bath and Body Works. I think is that Bath and Body Works? I think that's who this one is. But I use the scented lotions. I like the fruity type smells. I'm not a really, one of theirs smelled perfumey. I wore it the other day. I'm like, I have to go shower this off. This smells I don't like perfume that much. I mean, it's fine if someone else wears it, but I don't like smelling it on me. I like something that's a lot lighter and not like as in your face as perfume tends to be. So I'm not a perfumey person. Gypsy said, 10 Things I Hate About You has a good soundtrack too. I don't know if I ever saw that. I've heard it, like, I know it exists. I remember the name. I don't know if I've ever seen that. There was another one. Actually, I think Eddie Vedder was in it. What was the Singles? That movie? I used to love that movie. But that one had a good soundtrack too. I think it was Singles. I watched it enough times you'd think I would remember. Aren't we supposed to get a new Harry Potter movie? Are we? I don't know. I don't keep up with stuff. Chanel number 5, Tomcat pee? Really? I don't know what it smells like. Like, I don't even look into perfumes. I'm not a... Anything that's perfumey, like my Scentsy, if it smells like perfume, I'm like, I'm never buying that one again. Or the, like that lotion, it smelled okay in the bottle, but on me, I'm like, I just smell like it's perfumey. Like, I don't know. I like the more, like, the sugar. This one's Velvet Sugar. Bath and Body Works. That one, I like a lot of the vanilla smells. Like, just a much lighter smell are my favorite. I bought going back to 90s throwback, I got cucumber melon from Bath and Body Works. That one came out recently. They're like, here's a throwback one. I bought a couple of those. It was like, oh wow, so 90s. So it reminds me when I first started dating my husband. But yeah, that one was a fun smell. But yeah, the more fruity stuff or vanilla, like that's the lotions, just a lighter scent. I'm just not a fan of perfume. I like cologne. Like when my husband wears cologne, we finally made him get some, or I made him get some. I'm like, you never wear any smells. So he went and he's like, I don't even have any. I'm like, really? I went, okay. So we went to, he had a bonus from work and we're like, let's go get some cologne for you. It was something, I don't know, it was like a bomb. It's the shape of like a grenade, I think. Was that the one he got? Spice bomb, or I don't know. It smelled kind of nice. So that, I like cologne. I just don't like women's perfume. It's just never been my thing. Hobby Artist said, hi Lisa, the octopus is starting to look really good. Thank you. Amazing the difference adding texture makes. Yeah, and then when we come through, each of these little sections has to be shaded too. So like just, and it's not a lot. Like when we come back, we're going to wrap this up now. When we come back and do the shading, it's just like little highlight, like just a little inside of what's already there. And that will really make a difference in getting that texture. So we're at 3 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Gypsy Heart said, you should look up Cold Chamber later. Your story on the logo was how I was with Cold Chamber's logo. The little head face thing. Drew it all the time. I'll look it up. Actually, let me write that down. Or wait, can you message me on MeWe? I'll look it up. And by look it up, I mean I'm going to click the link that hopefully you send me. Anyway, we are done for today. Make sure there's not a T in there. There's no T. I'm making it. Make sure to check out Nick and Joseph's channel here on YouTube. Joseph can also scare the crap out of you when he live streams and you forget that you left the room and the live stream was going. Mondays he has been live streaming. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of the same people here in this chat are over in his, so make sure to subscribe to both him and Nick. And I will see you guys this week on MeWe. I'll be posting, I'm sure, more animal photos. And is that it? Do I have any? I don't think I have any updates. I think that's it. You guys done with this? Oh, your feet are so red. Poor itchy boy. I gave him some different kibble as a midday snack the other day. I did it like 2 days in a row. Oh dear God, his allergies flared. So he's poor bad cow is itchy. Anyway, yeah, we are good. And yeah, is that it? I think that's it. I'll see you guys on MeWe all this weekend. And then next Wednesday will be the next live stream. Is that it? I think that's it. I feel like I'm forgetting something. But yeah. Bye.